I'm getting the Sunday morning blues. Or the Sunday
It
afternoon
is
blues.
really hard to wake up at like 4:30 in the morning, be at work at 6 for just like a couple of hours, and then come back home. It's
Anyway.
anywho, hi.
Hello, boys and girls. We are finally up and recording this at last. I know a bunch of stuff has happened over the past 2 weeks, and I don't care. I really don't. Let's see, what movies come out in the last 2 weeks? Old came out. Have you seen it yet?
Nope, I've not seen Old.
That's the new M. Night Shyamalan, or Shyamalama Ding Dong, whatever his name is.
Saw Jungle
That guy's-
Cruise.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So, you can tell us about that, and then there was, what was the other one that came out that everybody immediately crapped on as soon as it came out? Space Jam.
Yeah.
Did we cuss out Space Jam on the last episode? I'm not sure. It's been out 2 weeks, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So we're not going to dump on Space Jam anymore. But anyway. But we're back. Now, you said you've seen
Jungle Cruise?
Jungle Cruise. Is it any good whatsoever?
It tried to be, it really tried hard and failed hard on trying to be Indiana Jones and Pirates of the Caribbean. And it failed miserably at all that. Except for the background story of The Rock, who had a very interesting storyline, which I'm not going to say on here because, well, that would be spoilers. And honestly, I don't know if this movie is worth giving spoilers because
it's a movie about a frickin' Disneyland ride.
yeah, I will tell you this though, okay? Even though this is supposed to be a family movie, there was a lot of people that did bring their kids to see the movie, and there's nothing in it for kids. Like, there's no cute little animals talking, there's no...
There is a kitty cat in there though, right?
There is, but he's just there to threaten people.
No. Oh, so a warm family film then, huh?
It's like, you know, if The Rock gets in trouble and The Rock says, "Hey, help me out," and the cat just like stands up and everybody's like, "Ah," runs away, and the cat just like, oh, lays back down. That's pretty much all. That's all he does, really. I mean, it's not. But yeah, I mean,
What is it with films this year have been sucking wind since everybody finally started shaking off the Rona, getting that bit off. They're wanting to start that back up. No, thank you very much, Andy, for sure. But anyway, it seems like a lot of these films they're releasing were just not worth the wait. Black Widow was not bad, but it wasn't worth the wait. It wasn't. And then, well, let's just wrap Jungle Cruise. Just to summarize then, 1 to 5, with 5 being you should go out and see the full priced Friday night feature, 1 waiting for it to show up on Pluto or...
I'll tell you this, okay? Somebody asked me, as soon as I got out of the movie, is it worth going to the theater to watch, or should I watch it on Disney Plus? And I told that person, wait until it comes on for free on Disney Plus. Then you can watch it.
So you'd give it like 2 out of 5 then. Wait for it to stream.
Yeah.
Right. So there's your review of Jungle Cruise, boys and girls.
There's not much to say on that.
It seems like there was another movie that was out, and I can't remember what was. I mean,
Snake
aside
Eyes
from
came out.
Snake Eyes, that's the one that came out last week that we didn't get to cuss out.
Well, you didn't want to watch it because Snake Eyes talks.
Boys and girls, this past week, and you tell me, do I post to Facebook a lot? No, I do not post to Facebook a lot.
Twitter, yes.
I put up, about a 400-word diatribe on just how bad you can screw up a franchise using Snake Eyes as the example. You take a strong, silent, well-trained manipulate him, you don't let him do anything cool, and then you just walk all over the character and just drag his name through the mud. And while you do it, you drag the franchise through the mud, and then you sit there and whiz in their mouths and laugh about it because, ha, 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 it was a good time meant for all. No wonder it didn't make jack dick at the box office. Bye-bye, Snake Eyes. Not where you get a 0, okay? You don't even get invited to the game, even if that came on free TV. Even if somebody held me down and threatened to shoot me in the head, if I didn't sit there and watch Snake Eyes, I would put the gun in my mouth and say, pull the trigger, because I wouldn't want to see it.
Damn, okay.
Screw you, Snake Eyes. I know exactly what they're doing. I have not seen the film. I don't want to see the film. I will never see the film. Screw it. Screw it. Just screw it. Not even playing. Anyway. So do you have news things for us? Or?
I do.
Yeah, go right ahead. What kind of news things you got for us?
Well, let me bring up my flashcards here.
Yeah. Let's run through them. News-ish stuff. You know.
Yes. So apparently there's a lot of Disney news going on.
Hey.
Scarlett Johansson is suing Disney for not getting money from the theatrical release, because apparently, like, she has this contract that says that, like, her movies, any movie that she's in, that's how she gets paid, is from theaters. And apparently, Black Widow was not supposed to go to Disney Plus.
Disney Plus was not so much a thing about, was it Memorial Day last year it was originally supposed to come out? It was supposed to, the idea was go to theaters first, then to streaming, then video, or it should actually be go to theaters first, then DVD, Blu-ray, then to streaming, and then out, like, for network television, like anybody watches movies on network television anymore.
A whole year's worth of...
Show up on TNT on ad nauseum repeat for a couple of years, like they do with all the other films, Marvel films that nobody wants to see anymore, because they've seen them 5 million times on TNT.
That's true. But yeah, so she might actually win this, and also she is, let's just say, Disney is not on good terms right now, because somebody big is backing Scarlett Johansson, and that is Kevin Feige, who is also really upset about their decision of putting it on Disney Plus while it was in theaters. And from my understanding, due to the fact that that's where Disney's getting their money from right now, is
That's
the
about the
Marvel
only
movies.
place they're getting their money.
Exactly. It's like that's pretty much where they're getting is the Marvel movies, and he is the big chief of the Marvel movies.
There's one little problem with that idea. Kevin Feige's in charge of the Marvel studio, but he still has a boss. It's not Bob Iger, it's some other CEO, whatever the CEO of Disney's name is right now. Bob Chapek, I think, is in charge of Marvel, in charge of Pixar, in charge of Disney, in charge of ABC, in charge of Hulu, in charge of Disney Plus, in charge of everything. If Chapek decides he doesn't want to hear Feige's crap, guess what? He does not hear Feige's crap. Bob Chapek, I'm given to understand, is the reason why Kathleen Kennedy is going to receive a very nice golden parachute to get the heck out of Star Wars. So I'm on Chapek's side on this one. For once, I'm on the side of the corporate guys over the creative guys. So I'm all for it. If Scarlett Johansson wants to be paid for her roles properly, she needs a better agent. Because a better agent would have realized she needs to get points based on how many views there are on streaming on top of gross from box office. Because traditionally, the stars of these movies, unless you are the size of like a Clint Eastwood, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I'm just being prejudicial here, but the big Johansson is not getting a taste of that Disney Plus streaming sugar, then that's her agent's fault. You need to renegotiate your contract, son, or just fail to actually do anything for them, in which case, we'll see you all in court. But I will say one thing, there is one truism in Hollywood. Even I know this one, and I'm an idiot, okay? You probably know this one too. You don't sue Disney. You don't sue Disney. You cannot win if you sue Disney. You cannot. Disney owns law firms, okay? Disney, listen to me, this is not a joke now. Disney owns the state of Florida, okay? Orlando exists because of Walt Disney. Walt Disney created the frickin' government of Orlando. He's the one who turned the entire central part of Florida into a feasible, ongoing concern. Nobody else in Florida history was able to make a go of that stupid swamp. Walt Disney is the one who generates the billions of dollars there. Walt Disney did it with an army of lawyers and a flotilla of lobbyists. Walt Disney alone has changed federal copyright laws at least twice over my lifetime anyway, and extended copyright laws from death plus 50 years to death plus 75 years to death plus 95 years, which is the thing now. That's how Disney keeps a hold of the rights to Mickey Mouse. You mean to tell me that the studio that can pimp slap the Copyright Office and have them begging for more is going to whiz themselves worrying about Scarlett Johansson?
Okay.
Good luck, honey.
Maybe not.
Good luck. Have fun with that. I'll be over on the side so I don't get any blood on you, okay? You thought the Red Room was dangerous? Ha ha. You don't know. Go ahead.
I was just laughing because she reminded me of Tom Hanks in League of Their Own. There's no crying on baseball.
And there's no suing Disney either. And was that not a Touchstone movie? Was it released by Touchstone? A League of Their Own? Yeah, that was a Touchstone film. Guess who owns Touchstone? Disney! There's no crying in baseball. There's no suing Disney. It's all been done before. And there's always a big old but. And ask yourself who benefits. Those are the 5 rules of Hollywood. Anyway.
Speaking of Disney.
Yes, must we?
Disney has made a new law.
Told you.
Basically, every employee and actor who works for any Disney movie, Disney series, theme parks must, are you ready for this? Must get, well, it says U.S. employees must get the vaccine.
I don't give an F about the vaccines.
Okay.
Okay, stop.
Okay.
UncaJuju's going to preach for a minute, okay? I'm going to tell you something that idiot, Tony Fauci, couldn't tell you. I'm going to tell you something that other idiot, Joe Biden, wouldn't tell you. I'll tell you something that idiot Nancy Pelosi won't tell you. I'll tell you something that idiot Mitch McConnell won't tell you. I'll tell you something that idiot Amy Beshear won't tell you. There's a whole lot of idiots going around right now. And I've had it up top. Here, okay? I'm right off the top of the screen, right? Yeah, I just hit the ceiling in here. It's not that tall. Anyway. Okay. I want you to play along with UncaJuju, okay? Here's how to figure out whether you should take a vaccine, okay? Here's what to do, okay? Hold up your hand. Hold up one finger if you're over the age of 12, and don't you dare lift that other finger. Okay?
I was going to.
Hold one finger. If you are over the age of 50, hold up another finger. Okay? If you are, watch the fingers. Now, if you are fat, hold up another finger. If you are considered morbidly obese, and you know if you are, hold up another finger. Okay? Now, there you
say I am.
Now, okay. If the doctor says you am, you am. Now,
I have one doctor that says I.
are you a diabetic? If you are, hold up another finger. Do you have respiratory issues? Do you have trouble breathing, like COPD or asthma or anything like that? Hold up another finger. If you have circulatory problems, like that includes high blood pressure and high cholesterol, even if you have it under control, hold up another finger. Hold on, I'm not done.
No, okay.
If you have a suppressed immunity system, for example, HIV, AIDS, you're undergoing chemotherapy, you're taking certain medications that suppress, like for eczema and stuff. If you're taking certain things that suppress your immunization system, hold up another finger. Okay, now all those fingers you're holding up, count them up. How many of you got? 5?
5.
You are 5 times more likely to die from COVID than normal. Okay, those are called those are called comorbidities. Okay, COVID-19 loves to kill people with comorbidities. In other words, COVID-19 cannot kill you unless somebody else has been unlocking doors around your body first. Okay, that's it in a nutshell. The vaccine is designed to go through and change the locks. So if you've got all those comorbidities and stuff, and yes, age is some of them, if you're a 12-year-old who's in decent shape, guess what? You're holding up one finger. You don't need the vaccine, okay? If you're holding up more than 3, you probably should get the vaccine. If you're holding up 5 or more, you need to stop watching this video, get yourself to wherever the nearest place that has these vaccines, and get it done. Because yes, the Delta variant is overblown, but it's also a lot more contagious. It's not as likely to kill you as the old school COVID-19 was. That stuff is a bear. But it does spread a lot faster. Yes, I understand you don't trust the vaccine. I understand you don't trust the messaging on COVID. They screwed up, okay? UncaJuju has been telling you from the beginning, this is a coronavirus that makes this a form of the flu. This is the reason why there were no flu cases reported last year. Because everybody was taking the COVID-19 tests. COVID-19 detects coronavirus. Every case of the flu was detected as COVID-19. So all the actual COVID-19 cases and all the flu cases got lumped together into one big mass. And yes, the flu does kill. The flu kills a lot of people every year. That's why you got to get a flu shot. That's why you got to get the COVID-19 shot. But if you don't have that many comorbidities, you can hang back. It's all right. If you catch it, hey, you'll have to deal with it, but you can, odds are, get through it. Okay? This is the honest truth. Do not let them start in on the stupid mask mandates. Walmart, not a joke, Walmart has already resumed their mask mandates for employees, associates, and vendors. Okay? So it's beginning all over again. Don't let these guys get away with it. Start screaming at your governor, start screaming at your representatives, start screaming, especially on the county level. Demand no more mask mandates. Masks are way overrated. If you are, again, if you have the comorbidities, you have 3, 5, wear the masks when you're out in public. Everybody else, leave them alone. They don't need this crap. Stop trying to overprotect everybody and stop acting like everybody is an 8-year-old, and here I am flailing my little fist like I'm 8 years old. You're making me act like a child. Stop it. Just stop it.
I'm glad you caught yourself on that one, because I saw you doing that and you said, stop acting like an 8-year-old. I was like,
Been doing this all morning, man. All weekend I've just been... Anyway, what else you got on here?
Okay, lighter news.
Yeah.
We've said this guy's name 1,000 times on the show. Mr. Tiki Waititi.
Hi, Waititi.
Is doing, and honestly, I'm ready for this, live action version of Flash Gordon movie. Now, usually I really don't care about Flash Gordon. I know who Flash Gordon is, but this is Tiki. He's doing Flash Gordon? This is going to be awesome.
If I did, you wouldn't be sitting there. Anyway, Waititi was the guy who did Aquaman, right?
No. He did.
What did he do?
Tiki is the one who did.
I'm old.
Tiki Waititi is the one who's doing the Thor.
Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
And he did the last Thor movie.
He did Thor Ragnarok, and he's doing the Thor God of Thunder.
Love and Thunder.
Or Love and Thunder. And he's done Jojo Rabbit. He's done a bunch of really funny films. Like, he's just a funny character, period. Like, he's really funny. So
This one might be fun. It's one of those things.
And the Mandalorians.
Yeah. Yes, the Mandalorian. So yes, he does have some cred with me. He's creative. He might actually get something out of Flash Gordon. The problem with Flash Gordon, there's a bunch of these old, classic intellectual properties, these media properties. Nobody respects them anymore. Nobody respects Flash Gordon. Nobody even knows who Flash Gordon is, which is probably why it's a good time for Tiki Waititi to, I can't believe I got that right, for him to take a stab at it. Guys like Mandrake the Magician, the Phantom that goes 2 walks, the Shadow, all these guys, the Lone Ranger. Oh my God, you could reboot the entire Western genre if somebody would just take the Lone Ranger seriously, because nobody has taken the Lone Ranger seriously for years. The last effort was, you know what the last effort was, it was Arnie Hammer and
Johnny
Depp.
Depp. Tonto.
Listen, okay? UncaJuju's going to tell you a little story. Okay, once upon a time, in the old West, there were 7 Texas Rangers, and they were tasked with going out and finding out what kind of gang is running around causing all kinds of tarnation in the western Texas Badlands. They went out and they found this group of killers, thugs, rapists. They were just raising all kinds of hell. The Rangers tried to take them down, and the Rangers lost. And the Rangers were gunned down, 2 of the band. All 7 of them dead. Left for dead in the desert for the buzzards to come down and pick on their bones. And they left, laughing. They ripped the stars right off their chest and threw them in the dirt. They just rode off to continue killing, raping, and pillaging. 2 days later, an Indian brave comes along. And he rides up on his horse, and he sees the massacre here, and he's like, oh boy, what happened here? Because he sees they're all dressed alike, so they must be with the white man's government or something. He goes over, he starts checking. The first one's dead, just bled out. Second one's bled out. Checks the third one, he's bled out. The 4th one's bled out. 5th one's bled out. 6th one's bled out. 7th one is not bled out. He's barely breathing, but he's still alive. So quickly the Indian brave starts working on it, starts binding his wounds, carefully starts pouring a little bit of water into his lips to try to overcome how the bad shape he's in. And it takes him about a day to stabilize him enough that he could actually get him onto his horse and walk him, take the long walk back to his tribe. There, the medicine man of the tribe starts working on this ranger, and it takes weeks and weeks to finally nurture him back to the point where he's able to talk. And so as soon as he starts talking, the medicine man sends for the brave to come talk to him, because that brave's name is Tonto, and he's the only one who actually speaks English in the tribe. Tonto has always been the one who has been their connection to the white man's world. So he comes in, he talks to the ranger, and the ranger sits there and explains to him what had happened. They had been bushwhacked. Somebody had sold them out. He doesn't know who, but this gang, they had no idea they were coming. So how did they ambush them? So so Tonto hears all this, and the ranger tells him, "I've got a wife, I've got children here somewhere nearby. I've got to know are they all right and stuff." And Tonto agrees. He'll go out and make sure they're all right. Tonto goes out. He checks on them. They're alive. They're well. They've had to move into an army garrison, an army post in the middle of pretty much nowhere, just for protection because things have gone completely off the rails out here. There's no law. There's no justice. There's no civility, nothing left in the Badlands of Texas. So Tonto goes in, he investigates and everything, but he doesn't actually go in and talk what's going on because nobody knows about the dead rangers yet. And Tonto's not going to be the one to come up and tell them because, quite frankly, they'll suspect him of being involved with the deaths. So he starts making his way back, talks to the ranger, and the ranger says, "I'm feeling strong enough now that I can ride. Let's go back out and have another look at what happened." So Tonto and the ranger take a trip back out to the massacre. Now the ranger looks around and he shakes his head at all the bodies and stuff, and he says these men need a proper burial. And so he and Tonto dig 6 graves, lay the men out. And then that's when Tonto notices all the badges that have been tossed to the side. And he says, "What do you want to do with these? Shall we bury them with them?" And the ranger says, "No, I owe it to them to do something else." He takes the 7 badges, he puts 1 on his chest, and he puts the other 6 in his pocket. They ride back to the tribe. That night, the ranger melts down the 6 silver badges that his fellow rangers had worn, and he casts 6 silver bullets. He knows there were 6 men involved in the ambush that killed all these rangers. He's got 1 silver bullet for each one of those rangers' killers. He's going to go out and he's going to find these men. He's going to bring them to justice. And Tonto says, if you're right, if this is righteous, I'll back you 100%. They go out, they start looking for clues. Eventually they find like a piece of red leather, something that just wouldn't occur naturally in such an environment. So they need to find somebody who wears red leather, which is not common even among the outlaws and flamboyant cowboys and stuff of this area. So while they're searching, the 6 who were responsible for the dead rangers come back. They're going to check to see if they've been discovered yet, and they notice that the six men have been buried. And that's when one of them looks up and says, "There's an Indian troop not too far from here. Let's go check out and see what they know." So the 6 men ride for the tribe. Meanwhile, Tonto and the ranger are trying to investigate and figure out who wears red leather, and they get a lead in an old broken down bar in the middle of nowhere in the Texas Badlands. They identify one particular person. He used to be a Texas Ranger, but he got thrown out because he just liked the easy life too much. He liked the money too much. The ranger life never appealed to him. There was too much money to be made, too much power to be taken to be a ranger. Why would he waste his time being one of the good guys when he could just be rich and have whatever he wanted? This guy wears red leather. So they figure this out. Tonto wants to check in with his tribe to find out what's happened. He rides back. The tribe's been decimated. Everybody's dead. And he sits, and Tonto sinks off of his saddle down to his knees, and he looks at all the dead, and he says, "I can't do this anymore. There's just too many deaths around here." And the ranger gets off of his horse and walks over to Tonto and says, "You're not alone yet. I'm still here. We can gain justice for your dead tribe." So the 2 men get back on their horses and they ride hell-bent for leather. They have a name, and they have a probable location. So they go and track this guy down, and sure enough, he is an ex-ranger. He was the one, he still has contacts in the Texas Rangers, and he knows, he found out what they were doing, and he was the one who sold them out and led them to the ambush. They track this guy down, and this guy recognizes the ranger. And they get into a huge fight and everything. And just as things are about to, our good ranger is on his last gasp. The red leather ranger is strangling him with his bare hands. And that's when Tonto puts an arrow into the back of his neck. So he's sitting, so the red leather ranger is laying there, bleeding out, and our ranger is sitting there saying, who else is responsible for this? And he doesn't tell him anything. He says, just rot in hell, and dies. So the ranger takes one of his silver bullets and puts it right there next to him, right next to his head, to let the whole world know he was one of the ones responsible for the dead rangers. So he gets back up on his horse. Tonto gets back up on his horse. And Tonto says, well, where do we go next? Because we've caught this one guy, but there's 5 others. And the ranger says, he was the only one who knew who I was. So I want to thank you for killing him, so I wouldn't have to. But I'll say this, wherever there's injustice to be overcome, whenever there is a bully trying to keep people down, wherever honest men fear, wherever women tremble, no matter what happens, the Lone Ranger and Tonto will be there to stop him. And then he hops up on his horse, rides up into the sunset, and says, "Hi-yo, Silver, away," and off they go. You can tell that story, and you can actually sell it, but you've got to take it seriously. So if Tiki Waititi is smart, yeah, that was, I actually remember where we started. Take Flash Gordon as a serious sci-fi, okay? Look what they've done with Star Trek. Look what they've done with Star Wars. They have run them both right into the ground. There are no major sci-fi franchises in good health right now. Flash Gordon can be one. But you gotta jump in there and you gotta take that banner and lead. So Tiki, get to it, sir.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Tiki's definitely the person.
Yeah.
Paramount has pulled the plug on Clifford the Big Red Dog. It is being pulled from theaters due to worries of the COVID-19.
Release it direct to video and get it over with. Just eat your losses and move on. Clifford is not that big of a... Clifford is a time waster for small children. Sorry, it's true. Same thing with the cartoon back on PBS back in the day. It's a time waster. It's a way to keep the kids out of your hair for a half hour at a time. So,
That's true.
It's a babysitter. Go right ahead.
We talk about Disney so much.
Ugh.
Disney to make a Predator movie, this time being the very first Predator that set foot on Earth and why they keep coming back to Earth, where apparently they take on, or one takes on an Indian warrior. Maybe something.
See? There's your Lone Ranger film right there.
Crossover. Yeah, so.
Now, I've heard tell that this was supposed to be a female Predator, too.
That's what I heard words, but I don't know if it's true. It might be somebody just
What is it? I'm gonna put this out there. What is it about Hollywood these days and their social justice warriors determined to make so many female villains? I don't get it. I don't understand it. If you're such social justice warriors and white men are so evil, why are not all of your villains white men? Maybe you're just sexist. I don't know. I'm just saying.
I guarantee you the
or maybe you don't like Indians.
I guarantee you the one. I'm sorry, that's right. We should be saying Native Americans, by the way.
Oh, what? For Indians? Should we be calling them First Nation Indians?
The rightful owners of this land. It's true.
I don't see
anyway.
police, but
I guarantee you that if Disney have it their way, the young warrior or whoever that has to go up against a predator will be female.
remember Suburban Sasquatch? You told me about this yesterday, and we were talking about Suburban Sasquatch. If you have not seen the film, it's on Riff Tracks. Go check it out. It's well worth the price. It's one of the worst movies ever made, and boy, they are earnest about it. That's the female Indian you need fighting the. Hey, at least I didn't say Injun.
Oh,
It could be worse. I could have said which Indian. Is it sorry, wrong number Indian, or no? I won't even go that far. Go ahead. I'm an evil white guy. Okay. I told you I'm Cranky Pants today. Leave me alone.
Singer Dusty Hill, the singer of ZZ Top, died at 72 years old.
There he goes. Bye, Dusty.
Bye, Dusty.
Been nice having you. Just he had a manly beard. Go ahead.
Yeah, that was a lot of beard.
The rest of us have not been able to grow beards on an entire generation because our facial hair was all intimidated by the.
Sorry, my balls is falling asleep on that.
And in other news we don't need to hear.
Michael B. Jordan is making a African American Superman limited series for HBO Max based off of the Val-Zod version.
Is this the comic book they did where Barack Obama was Superman, or is that somebody else?
What? I don't know, and I really don't.
And I don't care. So moving on.
Okay. The Tokyo Olympics is opening.
Okay, that's enough. Okay.
The Simpsons kicked off its season 33
Oh Lord.
with their first musical.
I remember when they were new and edgy. And their animation was crap too, but it was a lot more sincere than it is now. Well, you want to talk about sell out, although Matt Groening is a sarcastic little so-and-so, so that's, I have no problem with that. Anyway, good to see you cashing in, man. Although, remember, musicals always suck. There are no exceptions to the rule, Wizard of Oz. No. Or West Side Story.
Or what's that?
Or The Warriors. Yeah.
Oh.
Cats becomes a lot better when you start doing all the voices yourself. You put the cast of All in the Family and the Jeffersons and the Cats, and it just takes on a whole new meaning.
Oh, wow.
I'm Cranky Pants. Go ahead.
Okay, so this is the last news item.
Yay!
After many years, the Cleveland Indians has a new name.
The beloved's going to be sitting here looking at the door when we open this, like, what happened in there? Because she knows my evil cackle.
The Cleveland Guardians are now their name due to culture insensitivity in the past. And to make it even better, they're actually, and I don't know if this is them just joking around, but they said, we're going to get Groot to be our mascot from Guardians of the Galaxy. Groot.
Even if they actually do that, they won't do it more than a year because Marvel will just run them right out of business demanding. The Cleveland Guardians is not going to last for a very simple reason. There is a men's roller derby team. Understand, a men's roller derby team. The roller derby team that nobody pays attention to is the men, because they don't want to see hot chicks slam each other around. There is a men's, quote, professional roller derby team in Cleveland called the Cleveland Guardians. They own the Cleveland Guardians website.
Oh,
They
wow.
own ClevelandGuardians.com and TheClevelandGuardians.com.
Wow, I did not know this.
So the owner of this roller derby team is just sitting here waiting for the Brinks truck to back up, cause yeah. Now who do you get to replace Chief Wahoo, the dude with the triangles for eyes, who is their mascot since what, 1919, whatever? Who could possibly represent Cleveland? Not Groot. Groot grows. Nothing grows in Cleveland. I would say Swamp Thing, but Swamp Thing belongs over in D.C. I honestly can't think of who.
Jesus.
John Constantine? Nah, he's too British.
Jesus.
No, not Jesus. Jesus has nothing to do with Cleveland, that's for sure. Let's see. Well, I can't think of any heroes. Maybe villains? The Joker, maybe? The Cleveland Jokers. That would be that would be fun.
Just
Just
rolls right off the tongue.
That's what I've been saying about Cleveland for years. Let's see. The Luthors. We call them the Cleveland Luthors. No, still not as good as Cleveland Jokers. I know. We want to be all sensitive and warm and fuzzy and everything. The Cleveland Women. With 2 Y's. W-Y-M-Y-N. Yeah, there you go. Free of charge, Cleveland Indians. Free of charge. Never mind the fact that you were named after the first Native American to play Major League Baseball back in the early 19-teens. Never mind that the name was a tribute to him. Never mind any of that. White boys, Whitey McWhitebread, gets all in a tiffy and a hizzy because there's a Indians or the Redskins or whatever you want to.
I broke you. I broke you.
Morons. I'm tired of the morons in this world. I'm tired of the morons in my life. I'm tired of morons. Don't. It spreads. Anyway. So, we said that was the last news item. Oh, thank God. Can I see that? Thank you. Now, one last thing before we let you go. I said earlier this week on one of these, I can't remember if it was Facebook, Twitter, somebody, I warned that this weekend I was going to be talking about what's known as the Grand Solar Minimum. For all of you idiots who are still licking on Al Gore's jock over an inconvenient truth, I've got an inconvenient truth for the ages for you boys and girls. And because nobody knows who I am, it's not going to matter for nothing. I can't even get ratioed off of YouTube. I don't care. Bring it. Okay, just bring it. Now, we go through cycles, okay? Remember the 3 rules? I mentioned them earlier. It's all been done before, right?
Yes.
Rule number 1, it's all been done before. And it applies to everything, including how the Earth and the universe works. It cycles, okay? The Earth goes around the sun, the moon goes around the Earth, my moon goes around that moon, it just goes and goes and goes. Every 11 years we go through a minor solar cycle. Sometimes it's hot, sometimes it's cold. Sometimes it's hot, sometimes it's cold. Sometimes it's hot, sometimes it's cold. We go through it, okay? We have mild winters, we have harsh winters. We have mild summers, we have harsh summers. It happens. Roughly every 30 to 40 years we have what's known as a mega cycle, a grand cycle. This is where on the whole, for the next 30-some years, it's going to be either hotter or colder because the sun does not put out the same level of energy at all times. It just doesn't do it. So it's almost, to use a poetic phrase here, it's like breathing, okay? Sometimes the Earth exhales, and it shoots out more energy, and the Earth gets a little warmer for 30 years, okay? Sometimes it inhales. It puts out less energy, the Earth gets a little cooler for 30 years. Now normally in those 11-year cycles, it breathes in and out every 11 years. Okay, so it kind of goes like this. Okay, almost like a dolphin. Isn't that sweet? Anyway, the little fin, like almost like Jaws, just anyway.
That's where he's drunk.
I wish I was. Anyway, so the grand solar comes in like 30 to 40 year cycles. Remember, about 2 years ago, you can look this up, we talked about the day the Earth froze. Back in the 70s, they were talking about the Little Ice Age. I've mentioned the Little Ice Age on this show before. This was back in the 70s. Oh dear, all the glaciers were growing so big, and there were icebergs everywhere, and oh my goodness, everybody's just going to freeze to death. And Jimmy Carter says you have to wear a sweater instead of turning up the thermostat because he thinks the Department of Energy is worth established. Something like that. Anyway. That cycle began back in around 1942, which was right around the time Hitler got this brilliant idea of invading Russia back in World War II. Russian winter is a bitch, boys and girls, to begin with, but now you throw the grand solar minimum on top of it where the sun is putting out less energy, so the Earth cools and gets colder. All of a sudden, that bad winter becomes a really nasty killing winter that kills off a good chunk of the Nazi invasionary party. They never make it to Moscow because of the grand solar minimum. This goes, again, ebbing and flowing like this, but now it's ebbing and flowing at a lower level. Overall, the grand total is lower temperatures, and it's cycling back and forth. The past, since roughly 1990, 1991, we've been on what's called a grand solar maximum. That's where it oscillates, but it's gone this high, and now it's oscillating at a higher level. So at least, yeah, we get warm winters, we get cool summers too, but they're not as strong. The summers get harder, the winters get warmer in large, and Al Gore blames it on global warming, okay? The same idiots who were screaming about the Little Ice Age back in the 70s, suddenly in the 90s are declaring everything's going to melt down. Everything's going to catch on fire. Oh, look, we've got wildfires in California. Ignore the fact that we don't let anybody actually be good stewards of the forest. It's global warming. It's killing the forest. Oh, look, the icebergs are melting. Never mind the fact that this means that the ice caps are receding and there's more area to actually, live on, till, so people can eat more, and there's not as much hunger as there used to be. Oh my God, none of that matters. It's getting warmer. We're all going to die in fire. You've got people killing themselves because they don't want to live in a big baked adobe mud ball or something, because they think everything's going to die in fire because they're dumb enough to listen to their leaders. Anyway, we have indeed been going through warmer temperatures for a while. I hope you enjoyed it because it's coming to an end. Okay? There will still be droughts, but they will not be as severe nor as extensive over the next 30, 35 years. Between now, I'm 50. By the time I die, probably about 80, with my luck, 51. Within the next 30 years, between now and about 2050, 2055-ish, we're going to see temperatures cooling. This is the grand solar minimum. So now, instead of worrying about droughts, now you're going to worry about heavy snows. Now you're going to worry about blizzards. Now you're going to worry about people freezing to death. And you're too stupid to take actions now because we know it's coming. There's two forms of science, kids. There's settled science, which the guys on the left are all screaming about. The science is settled. It's global warming. It's climate change. It's going to kill you all. There's settled science, and then there's real science that's saying, hey, temperatures are about to start going down. We need to do a better job of finding new energy sources. We're going to have to start better insulating our homes. We're going to have to make sure we buy cars that are not smart cars that are about the size of roller skates, because they're not going to be able to get through the snow. If you are anywhere north, and this is not a joke, if you're anywhere north of, say, roughly Memphis, Tennessee, you're going to be getting probably a foot of snow every year, at least, okay? So get yourself ready for it now. And even if you're near Memphis or south of Memphis, you're going to be getting snow. You're going to be seeing snow on the Gulf Coast here within the next decade. It's going to happen because it's happened before. It did it in the 40s through the 70s. It's going to do it now through the 2050s. But what do I know? I'm wearing Donald Duck on my chest. So obviously I'm an idiot. So that is my warning to you all. Doubt me, don't believe me, hear me now and believe me later, whatever it takes. Just know, if you start preparing now and acting like a grown-up instead of a brain-dead chicken like the rest of these morons who are running around right now, take care of yourself, secure your energy, secure your house, secure your transportation, get ready for this. I'm telling you, it's coming, kids. Any thoughts before we wrap?
I can't wait.
I can't either. This is going to be so awesome.
I know.
Anyway,
More hot days.
it is kind of warm in here. We get bad air circulation in this room. But, we're working on it. We are working on it. You'll actually be able to, hopefully here shortly, you'll actually be able to see some decoration on the walls behind us, and you can actually see some of the other things here in the room. But we'll see what happens. If wishes were fishes, we'll all be, well, I don't like fish. I don't like fish, so I'd still be hungry. So, till next time, kids, Spike,
Chris.
Joe, let us know what you think. Keep up with us online. Yell at us, cuss at us. And if you're fussing, cussing, he's fine. See y'all down the road.
Bye.